Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Algebra 2 with Pre-Calc. This is Mr. Malcolm, your math teacher. Now, please go ahead and open up today's worksheet. Turn over to the Think About It section. In your notebooks, please ensure that you've updated um, the heading for today, Lesson 9.02, the unit circle. Also, please make sure that you have the correct date. And I went ahead and drew the picture from the Think About It section, which will be very important for us. Now, I would like you to pause the video, as usual, and take the next 5 minutes to try to understand and attempt the problem. Once you're finished, please return here and I'll show you how to get it done correctly. All right, thank you for trying the problem. I hope and trust that you are able to understand and get it done properly. Please use this as a means of both checking your answers and as a means of seeing how a different process of thinking that you can use to get this work done properly. Okay, so the first thing that we should do is read the question. The question says, a unit circle is drawn below with a right triangle drawn inside in such that the angle formed from the center is 30 degrees. Convert the angle to radians and use any means possible to determine the coordinates of point B. How would your answer change if the given angle was 45 degrees instead? Okay, so looking at our circle here, the first thing that I would like to do is to finish the angles inside. So if this is 30 and this is 90, then this angle must be 30 plus 90 subtract from 180. So 30 plus 90 is 120. 180 minus 120 gives us 60. Okay? Why 180? Because angles within a triangle measure up to 180 degrees. Okay? So, with that said, we now know that this is one of our special triangles. If you remember from before, our special triangles, there's two of them, but this one is the 30, 60, 90 triangles. Okay? Also, we note that we have our hypotenuse here. We have a measurement for it, which is 1, since this is the unit circle. Okay. We also note that we need to get the coordinates for B. It should look something like this. We need an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So we know in order to get the B coordinates, we go from here to here. So we need to figure out what that distance is in the x direction. And then we need to know what this distance is in the y direction. Okay, so let's call this y. All right. Now with that said, returning to our 30, 60, 90 special triangle, knowing the way to find these angles is of vital importance. So if you remember, um, they should be written in this format, that the shortest leg we can represent as x, the longer leg we can represent as x root 3, and the hypotenuse should be 2x. Now, it becomes a very simple math problem when we already have one of the sides. So we have the hypotenuse, or the longest side, which is 2x, being equal to 1. So we can set up our simple algebraic expression that says 2 times some number gives us 1, because the hypotenuse should be equal to 1. 2 times what number gives us 1? The answer should be 1/2. Now, if x is 1/2, then to figure this part out, all we would need to do is replace x with 1/2. And so it becomes 1/2 times root 3. And over here, we just have x by itself, so this should be 1/2. Now working out the math, 1/2 is 1/2. 1/2 times root 3 is root 3 over 2. And 1/2 times 2 is 1, as we said before. Okay? So these are the values that we'll put in. Now, which one is the x and which one is the y? Looking at our triangle, we see that the shortest side is y. The shortest side is 1/2, and the longer of the two legs should be root 3 over 2. Okay? Now, the last part of the question asks, what would be different, or how would it be different if this was not a 30, 60, 90, if it was a 45, 45, 90 triangle? So let's see how it would be different. If we have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, we know that this should be written as hypotenuse being x root 2 and both of the sides having the same length of x. Okay? Now, the question becomes very simple, once again, when we have one of the sides, which we do, which is a hypotenuse, the longest side, and we can fill in that value. So, what number times root 2 equals 1? And whatever that number is, it's the same number we're going to put in for these. So, what number times root 2 gives us 1? And that number is 1 over root 2. So, all of these should be 1 over root 2. Okay. Doing the math, we can write it properly. Root 2, 1 over root 2, and this should be 1. Okay? So that would be the difference. Just because the difference in special triangles. Okay? So as you can tell, today's lesson is going to be about using special triangles to find different coordinates. Okay? Hopefully this was helpful to you and that you are able to use this information to do very well today. Okay? With that being said, have yourself a good day, and I'll see you in class in just a moment.